Hey, CDR Nation. It's day 132, August 19th. Diary of an Entrepreneur. Superstart Sunday. Here we go. CDR Nation, it is day 132, August 19th, Superstart Sunday. We're planning our week. I'm starting my week off in the Why Not Me studio with Nathan Ellis, and I think we're going to talk about some leadership today. So I'm going to turn it over to Nate here and follow his lead because it is his playground today.
What's going on, guys? I've got a few things we're going to try to cover today concerning leadership and how to accomplish everything that you want. So I think first off we're going to talk about the importance of having a good mindset and in your career, goals, your future, etc. And just kind of where you need to be so you can take off and get where you're going. So let's talk about the state of mind here. I feel like you need to be fairly optimistic, wouldn't you say?
Right, yes.
Okay. So in being optimistic, when somebody throws something your way, you don't just shoot it down. Even if you don't know something about it, you should always kind of consider it for a few days. For example, somebody had offered me a studio a few days ago, a studio opportunity to...
Not sure who that would have been.
To kind of have my own studio and where we could kind of bounce off each other and get some recordings out there. I really suck. I didn't get any of this ready.
Well, I think with leadership on my end, as you look through your notes, I always kind of break leadership down to kind of three categories that you can be in. A boss is kind of like a slave driver, a manager is an organizer, and then a leader is a teacher. And I think that being an optimistic leader and being open-minded, and there's a chance of being open too open. I mean, you want to be an open like a parachute where it's gonna cushion you and it's gonna bring you down slowly and help you and save you. But you don't want to be so open that parachute flies up and you hit the ground at 100 and whatever miles an hour. So bosses, I don't like the term boss because, like I said, they're slave drivers. They push you. They're mean. They're grouchy. They try to just berate you, and Nathan and I have both worked for bosses like that to berate you, and they don't try to get the full potential out of you. And managers, I feel like, are always organizing. They're not really paying attention to anything else. They want everything perfect, and they're organizing their paperwork and all that. But a true leader is a teacher. They're teaching the staff everything that they know, bringing them forth and trying to build them and grow them.
Oh, absolutely. And then to kind of bounce off of that, I think there's boss or leader, however you want to call it. There's two types, of leaders. There's a type you listen to because you have to, and then there's the type you listen to because you want to. You know what I mean? And in a leader standpoint, I feel like you want to be somebody they listen to because they want to.
Absolutely.
You get more out of people that way. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a higher standpoint.
One of my greatest quotes that I love is that leadership is the ability of a leader to take his or her followers to a place where they've never been before. And it's not that leader pushes them. It's not that leader drives them to that. That leader kind of pulls them to that, and they want to go with that leader to that place. And that true leader, like you're saying, gets the momentum out of somebody. They almost tap into that hidden source of energy. I know with working with Nathan sometimes, or Nate, as I call him Nathan and Nate, but working with him in the Why Not Me movement, he brings something out of me. He unlocks something that's hidden inside of me and makes me want to step up my game, and I want to follow him. And I think this brings it to another point, not to overshadow you and take your show away from you here, but I think it brings it to another point that Nathan and I work well together because Nathan knows when it's time to lead, and he knows when it's time to follow. And just as I do, I know when it's time to lead, and I know when it's time to follow. So, sometimes that we're under the CDR Nation header, where Nathan's kind of following my lead, and this is his playground. Like I said, this is his office today, and I'm following his lead. So we do it together, lead and follow.
And we just had a conversation with a salesman in an insurance office, and he talked about the percentage of listening versus talking, and when to kind of step back. And he said, as a good salesperson, you should definitely spend more time listening rather than trying to actually sell the person. You know what I mean? You listen and see what's important to them, and then try to go on the attack and push what's better for them, whether they know it or not. Anyway, back to like leadership. And we kind of talked about how, as a leader, you want to go up to somebody, and try to pull them forward, propel them forward. Not so much, try to like right in their face, but make it to where they want to raise their own bar. You don't raise their bar for them. You make it to where they want to raise their own bar. Is what a good leader would do. So, how important would you say, or would you even say, as far as you would think the foundations of leadership would actually go and be based off of the relationships and connections you make with people?
Absolutely. I think that your relationships, I think we're all in relationships, and we're all in these hives together, and sometimes we're, like I said, we flow within those hives, and we have to learn when it's our time to lead, when it's our time to follow, and when it's our time to be leaders of leaders. And that's what I like. I've never felt that I was a leader of just followers. I feel like that I'm a leader of leaders, and to get them to strive more. But we always had a saying, and Boston will remember this. We have Boston on the cameras again today for CDR Nation, and Boston's my daughter, in case the Why Not Me movement doesn't know that. But Boston's 13 years old. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's going to be an entrepreneur. She just doesn't know that yet. I know she's going to be an entrepreneur. But we had when we played softball, we ran a travel softball organization, and we had a saying called TEAM, T-E-A-M, together everyone achieves more. And I think a true leader knows that the leader needs the team as much as the team needs the leader. Mm-hmm. And you get more out of that collective group, and somebody has to be in charge. That's the necessary evil. I always say with my CDR Nation that it's heavy as the head that wears the crown. It's on leaders like us to wear that crown. But we also know sometimes that we have to follow in order to get there. Yes.
Make sure you're really paying attention. So let's talk about what are some things that leaders do well then? What would you say some things that a good leader, somebody maybe you know personally or somebody you've seen somewhere, what do you think they do well in terms of getting people to step up?
I think I'm going to throw this back on you for a minute, and this is something that I learned from you, is that it's building of a team. And it's further than just building of a team. It's building of a successful team, and it's building
people that want to win.
Building that. There you go. And you answered my question. You answered my answer with an answer there. and that's what I'm talking about. You've taught me that is that you can build any team. I've always been a guy that can build a team. Always. Well, that team may be a team that's going to go out there and get slaughtered every weekend, 30-0. But to build a successful team that drives for a common goal, you have to have the right players.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes we hate this, and this is in relationships as well. This is in life as well. Sometimes we have to cut people loose. We have to fire those people, just like we were talking to the insert agent. Sometimes you have to fire 5 customers a year.
Five a year is what he said.
Sometimes you have to fire some people on your team that's not moving in the direction you want. And people, and I follow a lot of football and baseball and Major League, and people are like, oh, I can't believe they traded that person. And then, a year later, they're like, oh, I can't believe we got that person back. Because at that point of the trade, that person may not be the perfect fit for that team. Mm-hmm. A year from now, because I tell my CDR Nation, what a difference a year makes. A year from now, that same player may be what we need.
Let's talk about, like I said,
our camera girl's having some issues there, so Well, if you're Why Not Me Nation, I don't know if you'll edit this out, but she's having some issues on the camera there. Now we're back rolling. CDR Nation, we're back.
So how important is it as a leader to go out and be able to serve people and help people out? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people can't initially get their own, bearings and grasp things to actually get to the next part of their life. So how important as a leader, in a leader standpoint, would you say it is to go down and help people get their footprint?
That's an absolutely great question. And Nathan and I are kind of doing this on the fly. We just decided about 2 or 3 minutes ago before we started what topic we were going to talk about. I wish that I had this, and I'm not going to bog your audience down or my audience down with religious quotes, but there's a quote in the Bible, the King James Bible, that says, in the basics of it, it's talking about how the man should be subject to the church, subject to Jesus, and the wife should be subject to the man, and everybody, but to make a perfect relationship between the man and the wife, because the man's following God, and the woman's following man. But it goes a little further than that, and this is the part of it I like of it, is that we all should be subject to one another. We all should help one another. And Tasha is my fiance and helps me in business, and she's very important to my business, and she can run our business. She doesn't need me, but we are subject to one another, where we're focused on helping each other, not only within the relationship of man and woman, of fiancés, but as business leaders too. We are subject to one another. She helps me just as much as I help her, and I think that you, as a leader, you have to be subject to your team. You have to be subject to what's the old saying? The weakest, the team or the change is only as strong as the weakest link.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So you're the man or woman in charge. If your chain is weak, it's your fault. Go down there, work with that weakest link, be subject to them, serve their needs, get them where they need to be. And I know what Nate's going to say next. And if we can't get them where they need to be, we may need to cut them loose.
Absolutely.
Because they may not be perfect for our team, but maybe they're perfect for their own team.
But even more than that, I mean, you can't see it as doing a bad thing, you know what I mean? Because like you said, even if they're not perfect for you, doesn't mean they're not good for somebody else. But even more so, it's not fair to them to be put in a position where they're not going to reach their full potential. You know what I mean?
And you're absolutely right. And I come from a management background where I worked the grocery retail, and I can't tell what company it was, because I don't want to offend anybody or anything like that. But I worked for a grocery retail, and there was a competitor of ours, and I told a girl when I was letting her go, and I said, I think you're not a bad person, and you're not a bad employee. It's just that you don't fit this team that we have. You don't fit this organization that we have, and you probably could go next door to the competition and be a perfect fit for them.
Oh, yeah.
But where we're at and where we're going, you just don't fit that. And she said, oh my gosh, I've never had somebody fire me that's inspired me, because you just inspired me. I never realized why I wasn't making it here. It's not the job, it's me. That's the reason I wasn't making it. I'm going to let you know, we fired that girl. She left our organization and became a top manager with the competition. Because she just couldn't fit our team. But she was good at what she did. It's just the rules that we had in play from our corporate office at the time, she just couldn't fit.
Yeah. So, backtrack a little bit about building relationships. We obviously know as a leader, it's really important to build a relationship with people, lower, higher, wherever you want to go. You know what I mean? How would you say the best and most appropriate way to go down and actually build a successful relationship would be with somebody? I mean, you just go down there and just, right in the mouth, like, hey, this is what you need to do better? I mean, is it more soft and sweet?
I think the greatest of leaders understands that we're all different. And we have to understand that first.
And get one another's needs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because what motivates me is not going to motivate you. Even though you and I are pretty close to the same kind of person. I mean, we operate pretty same. We're almost the same kind of management people, but there are so many differentials in us that we're not going to be motivated the same way. Yes, there's going to be some things that motivate both of us the same way, but not everything is going to motivate us the same way. So I think you got to understand people first. Then when you get down there with them, you have to listen to them. What what will inspire them? Is it money? Is it extra money? Is it just recognition? Is it attention? What's going to inspire them? Then you do what you can within your limits to inspire them and bring them further. I also, at the same retail job, I had a woman who worked for me. She was going through the line. I was needing somebody at the time. I walked out to her and I said, "Hey, I got a job for you." And that was the interview. I got a job for you because I've known her from coming in and out of the store. I have a job for you. She worked for me. She outgrew me, so there was a position in the corporate office that came available, and I said, "I think you need to apply for that job." She's like, "I don't want to jump over you. You need to apply for that job." I'm like, "It's not in my cards right now to do that. What I'm doing, where I'm needed, is right here. You need to apply for that." She became a supervisor.
There you go. So let's kind of talk to like the levels of leadership and growing into a good leader. And then we'll kind of start with level 1, and these are just kind of my thoughts if you kind of want to feed off these. And I wrote these down quite some time ago, but I still think they kind of stand true. So level 1 would be getting in a position, right, of being able to help people. You know what I mean? Because you can't help people from the bottom of the totem pole. I mean, you can try to look up and help people, but a lot of people are just going to look down on you. You know what I'm saying? So I think level 1 would kind of be positioning and getting kind of what fits for you to where you are in a position to help people. And try to get people to look at you and follow you because they want to and not because they have to. Because if they follow you, like I said earlier, if they follow you because they have to, you're going to get the least out of them. You know what I mean? So what do you think about that? Level 1 would be kind of positioning on where you're at.
I think it goes back to the is a leader made or is a leader born? And I'm not going to get into that argument because I'm not sure where I fall on that right now. But I think that anybody who, whether you're born this way or you've been molded this way, you're going to want to put yourself in a position to lead. So you're going to want to grow each and every day to lead. So you may start out, like let's take the grocery business that I was in. You may start out as a carryout, and maybe you're just going out and getting carts off the lot. But soon you're going to have to figure out, how do I become a senior carryout? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I got a couple guys under me, and then I'm training these guys. Okay, you want to put yourself in the position to be noticed as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that goes with your whole positioning thing. Is that you want to put yourself in a position to be noticed. You want to put in the work. You want to position yourself to put in the work. Mm-hmm. Then you want to position yourself to have people that are under you. Oh, yeah. And then you want to grow from there. So then your next step is, how do I become the senior carryout? Mm-hmm. Okay, how do I become the carryout trainer? And then how do I become, maybe a cashier? And then grow from there. I think positioning is very important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And
and that's with anything, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Instead of being on the defense, you're going on the offense. Mm-hmm. Make your plan, take your notes, and go conquer it.
And so level 2 would be, and like I said, there's no right or wrong answer, it's just what I feel. So level 2, after you get the right position and where you're at, level 2 would be more about building relationships and kind of learning people skills and getting into a position mentally with yourself where you can actually help understand people and serve them better to help them.
And let's face it, whether we're talking about a leader who is in the free world or a leader who is a dictator, they still know how to handle people. They still understand people in general. They still know how to get out of those people, even if it's with fear. They know how to get out of what for those people what they need to get out of.
Let me get here. Then this kind of follows along with being able to understand people. I was reading a book and I kind of wrote down some notes. It's The Secrets of Socrates. And he was saying when you're speaking with people, you want to start off with what you agree on. You don't want to start off right with a conflict. He said that's a really bad way to get people on your side.
Well, I think when you start out with conflict, it automatically shuts down anything. All negotiations shuts down with conflict. In life, and in relationships, in business, and everything that we do, effective communication is the key to anything.
Mm-hmm. And he also went and talked about how to get cooperation with people. And like I said, this is kind of going along with, having the ability to handle people. And for an example, if he went up to somebody, instead of just telling them, this is what you need to do, this is your job, this is what you're here for, do it or don't, he used the example of whoever it was talking to one another, and he went up to him and said, what do you expect from me? And this was the boss talking to the worker. The boss said, what do you expect from me? And the worker went on and said, well, as a boss, I feel like this is what you should do to help us advance, to help our jobs easier so we can make your job easier. And so after he went on, let himself get scolded, he went on to say, what is it fair for me to expect from you? And in doing so, the worker went on and actually improved so many percent. And his work actually got better after that, just because he took the time and recognition to help that guy out. And did it in a soft, meaningful way, like he actually cared, you know what I'm saying?
We used to talk when I would train carryouts and cashiers and shift managers, and then when I went on to train assistant managers too, even as at the level of assistant manager, some people couldn't understand customer service. And customer service breaks down to attention. It's all about positive attention on the customer. And I would relate this to, if any of you have ever had a cat or a dog, and that dog's been away from you for even sometimes 5 minutes, it seems like, but especially all day, and you come home, that dog meets you at the door. Its tail's wagging, its whole body's wagging, it's jumping on you. You are the greatest person in the world. And how does that make you feel?
It makes you feel good.
It makes you feel like somebody loves you. I mean, seriously, your wife, your wife and your kids may not meet you at the door like that, but that dog does, or that cat does, and it loves you. And that's exactly breaking it down with the attention to the customers. Those customers that would come into our grocery store had to feel like they were the greatest thing that we saw all day.
Oh, yeah.
Each customer.
So at level 3, you get to a production level. Whereas a leader, as an effective leader, you need to be able to produce and be productive and get productivity out of other people. And kind of talk about not being a travel agent. You know what I mean? Not telling people to go here and do this if you've never been there and done that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't send people where you've never been. And we also kind of talk about attracting who you are, and we talk about building momentum as a leader. How important would you say momentum is as being a leader to help get things rolling? That way you guys can have an effective crew.
I think everything you said there is very, very important, and it's something I'm doing with my CDR Nation and Diary of the Entrepreneur, is that I'm letting these guys in on everything. Hey, I had a house foreclosed on. Been there, done that. Hey, I've had 2 cars repossessed. Been there, done that. Hey, I have haters out there. I owe people. I owe investors. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. This is not something that I'm phoning in. I'm out there working every day to solve these problems and to try to cure everything I'm up against. And it's not easy. I mean, and I've been there. So for me to speak to my audience and say, oh, well, it's okay, you were foreclosed on, you'll make it. And then me never been foreclosed on, or me never had a repossession. For me, it feels like that. I'm not doing them a justice. I'm not doing them justice by doing that. But because I've been there, because I've done that, I feel like I'm a more effective leader of young entrepreneurs and people that are starting out in business, and I can speak with honesty and truth of where we're going and where they need to go and how they need to follow me to get there. It's not that I'm out there saying, hey, you have to follow me. I'm just shining a light, saying, hey,
this is where I'm going. You guys want a piece?
I'm pretty sure that I know where success is. I'm pretty sure that I know how to get there. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that Why Not Me and CDR Nation needs to be in a studio that I've got picked out. But I can't force Nate to do that. I can't force Nate to go, and Why Not Me to go with him. I just have to shine the light and say, hey, I think I know where the end of the tunnel is, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So motivation, I think, is a great key. But you have to been there, and you have to do that. I can't go tell people how to sack groceries if I've never sacked groceries. And trust me, I started with this job on the floor, on the 3rd shift floor crew. Mm-hmm. That's what I did. I cleaned floors.
You sounded like you worked at a Walmart or JCK or something.
No names.
So we get to level number 4. It's the last level, and this is kind of where you become what most people would say in their representation of what a leader would be. And this is where you get to like a personal development, part with yourself and other people. So as a good leader, and you're right up there with a lot of the better leaders. Maybe you're a small leader, big leader, however it is. You know what I mean? The principles are the same. So as a successful leader, you don't only position yourself, in a good spot and position yourself well, but you have the ability to say, okay, I know you, I've seen your work, I know what you're good at. You're able to position other people's in a good spot so where they can grow and help maximize themselves as well. You agree?
Absolutely. And anybody that I've ever been had the responsibility, and I call it a responsibility because it is. You're responsible for these people, and you're responsible for their families too, as well, because you're helping them grow.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to, I've always felt like if I had to fire somebody, I failed them. I failed them as a leader, that I wasn't able to get what I need out of them. And maybe that's a fault of mine, but I really feel like that I failed my team because I couldn't get that out of them. But I've never been scared to or afraid to have somebody grow so big and so fast that they outgrow me, because that's my job. So as an effective leader, if I'm working day in and day out, still building CDR Nation, and why not me's $1 million company, I'm going to feel good about that because I helped you get to that level. If somebody I'm managing jumps over me, let's look at it. I've had some employees who've left my organization who started their own business.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to them, because I had a hand in that. I had a hand in helping them and teaching them about business, that they felt comfortable to go out and start their own business. Now, did I make that happen? No. They already had that in them, but maybe I woke that up. Maybe I inspired that to come out, that growth to come out.
That's what you're saying. And we also, in level 4, go as far to talk about, like I said, kind of successful people discover what they're good at, but they discover what other people are good at as well. And we talk about, no matter how talented you are, you're not going to grow, and then this is like period, there's no exceptions, you're not going to grow if you're not in a position where you should be. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're operating, if you're like high capacity and somebody puts you at a low capacity level, you know what I mean? There's no growth going to happen because you're not in the position where you function the best. You know what I mean? Like if you're top level marketer and you're on the front line, bagging groceries, you're probably not going to be able to do what you should be able to do for that company. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think if you want to give kind of a visualization of this, it's like a fire truck headed out to a house fire, and the guy just turns the hose on just a little, and it's just dripping out. You're not going to put that fire out unless you open that hose up, unless you get the full potential of what that fire truck can do. You have to open that thing. You got to open
That's a good one.
You got to open it wide open. You've got to put me in the position. And the same thing is what you're talking about. If the fire is on 5th and Elm, and the fire truck shows up to 3rd and Main, we got a problem. You're not in the position to put out the fire. And I think you have to be put in positions to grow. And if you're not, and this goes back to firing people, if you're at a company, if you're at a relationship, if you're in something that you cannot grow, where you need to get, and you feel like somebody else is shutting the tap off and you're only boop, 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 dripping, maybe it's time to fire yourself from that job, from that relationship, from that situation, and move on. We talk about that in CDR Nation. Sometimes you have to fire the people around you, but sometimes you have to fire yourself as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's kind of recap here, because that was a big, long, just for 4 levels. So we talked about leadership, and level 1 is positioning yourself to where you can help others. Level 2 is being able to begin being a leader, such as things leaders do well: serving, observing, learning, being relatable. Level 3, you focus on being kind of productive and helping other people around you be productive and helping them kind of max out on themselves. Level 4, we talk about personal development, not only putting yourself in a good position, but putting others in a good position to where they can thrive as well.
And I think on level 4, you have to invest in yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You have to invest in reading. I know people who are effective leaders, yet they don't want to listen to any of that motivational bullshit, as they call it. They don't want to listen to any. That's where I learn. I learn from a lot of guys like Grant Cardone, Gary V, Damon John, some of the other guys we've talked
But
about.
if you can't motivate people as a leader, you're probably not being the best leader you can be.
Exactly, and I believe that. And you have to tap in to whatever gets you going. And those guys get me going. I read a lot. I read a lot of books. I read a lot of media on the internet. Anything that's going to help me grow as a person, because it's a perpetual motion forward. It's not just to get there and stop.
Mm-hmm.
I want to grow every day as a leader. I want to build every day as a leader, because
Absolutely.
I have people behind me that depend on me. And here's the other thing too, like we've said with CDR Nation, and I think Why Not Me's kind of adapted this too. I don't care if you're a garbage man. I don't care if you're the President of the United States. Just be the best damn garbage man you can, the best damn president you can, and just because you're out there picking up trash does not mean you can't make a difference. It doesn't mean that you can't be a leader. My dad was a truck driver for most of his life. He owned trucks. He drove for other people. Before he went into the pallet business and become an entrepreneur, he was a truck driver. He was the best damn truck driver that I know. And he was a senior truck driver in the company that he drove for, and he led people. He led people, other drivers, and he was, people would look at him and say, well, you're just a simple truck driver.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do or where you're at, you can always find a way to help people.
He was the best damn truck driver that he could be, and he helped other people be the best damn truck drivers they could be.
Mm-hmm. And to kind of elaborate on helping other people be the best they can be, like you said, everybody's different. What works for me doesn't work for you, and etc. So, I mean, it's like fishing, right? When you're fishing, you don't put what you like out on the rod and cast it out there, right? You put what the fish are going to eat. You know what I mean? So yeah, to talk about kind of picking people up and getting them in a position, you got to really listen to them and pay attention and see what they want and what's going to help them. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that, because I want to go and Nate gets on to me a little for my language on air and things like that. But you don't go fishing in a shitty ass creek and then complain that what you pull out is shit.
Yeah.
So that goes along with your positioning as well. You can't put yourself in a bad position and then bitch about it.
Absolutely.
It's all up to you to get out of that situation.
All right. You got anything else you want to add?
I got nothing here. We're rolling.
All righty. Well, I guess that sums it up on leadership. I guess next time we can talk about starting off as a leader and getting clear on where you want to go and rock it from there.
Sounds good. I think we'll be doing a lot more of these crossover CDR Nations and Why Not Me, so I like it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
31:43. Deuces.
Okay. And shut it down, because I'll do an ending. Hey guys, just got back from the Why Not Me office recording with Nate Ellis with the Why Not Me and a leadership message. Hope you guys like that. We are going to do a lot more of those, get those out there, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the information that Nate and I laid out for you guys. It's going to appear on his Facebook page, Why Not Me, our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, on our podcast, and then on Why Not Me's podcast as well. So great information that we got out there for you guys. We're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep rolling with those collaborations. I'm trying to talk Nathan into moving into a office where we would have an official studio where we could both do our podcast and then also do recording for other people and things like that, and get things out there to you guys and edit from one location. So we're working on that. We'll see how it goes. You never know what a difference a second makes, what a difference a minute makes, what a difference an hour makes, what a difference a day makes, what a difference a week makes, what a difference a month makes, and hell yeah, what a difference a year makes. So maybe it'll take us a year to move into that office, but we'll see how it goes. We'll keep growing. We're going to get you in on a little more behind the scenes activity. Was filming from the t-shirt shop yesterday. Took a lot of footage from the t-shirt shop and a lot of footage from after we got done with Nate Ellis at Why Not Me, but haven't edited those yet and got them up there, but I will get them up there to you guys. So it only takes one opportunity, one post, one video, one person commenting on your video, one person shouting you out, one person saying, hey, that's my guy or that's my gal. It just takes one, guys. One stone to bring down the giant. One swing of the sword to slay the dragon. It only takes one, guys. So, alright, I've got a lot more work to do. I want to get things edited and get them up to you guys. So, try to get things rolling and working right. So, alright, guys, I hope you enjoyed the Why Not Me CDR Nation crossover. More of that to come. There we go.